And it's YouTube. No, it's YouTube.
We're live.
Oh, we're live?
Now we are.
There we go.
I'll keep an eye on the chat too.
Yep. So you got us on video now?
Yep.
Some picture hack.
I'm not seeing anybody else logged in yet.
7688.
Yep.
No idea what I'm looking at.
Seeing anybody connected, David?
That says we have 3 people watching now, but that's me, and I think that's you too.
Yeah.
Where is, how do I get to it in this? This looks totally different.
Go to, click on the OCAC logo up there. Your channel.
Oh, okay.
And then all right. So I'm not sure who all's on yet, but we're getting logged in and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Looks like we got 7 on now.
We're just waiting for a few more people to get in here.
All right, there's that. So
Oh, boy.
you should see chat over here too.
Okay. Very cool. I see you, Ron. Back here.
All right, good. So you guys will be able to hear us, And like I said, we're up to 11 now, so we'll give it a few more minutes and get started. If you've got any questions, you'll just need to type them into the chat. And once we get done going through everything, we'll come back through and review the questions and get them answered the best we can. Your mic was off.
No, I turned it off.
Oh.
I think the link might have messed everybody up. I sent it back out.
I mean, we can make,
Oh, this is private.
yeah, it's unlisted, so everybody has to have the link to join.
Right. That makes sense.
Our one that was public, we had people in there that didn't belong that were causing trouble, so. Few more in this, so those that are just joined, we'll get started here shortly.
Everybody ready to get the season started, type H1.
Is your microphone on?
Everybody ready to get the season started, type H1. Seems to be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, it looks like we're on about a 15-second delay.
Yeah, there's usually a 20, 30 second delay.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeremy's ready.
Will we post this after?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
When you want to kick her off?
Yeah, we'll give it another minute till 6:10 and then we'll get going.
Got a couple more H1s.
Yep.
I gotta look at somebody.
I'm gonna go back out there. Alright, tell us time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. Like Nathan sent you.
Yeah, I
Quick,
seen that.
So, yeah, it looks like we only have about 18, but let's go ahead and get started here as others join. Then, like I said earlier, Rod and I will kind of go through everything that we have for you guys. If you've got questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. And when we get done, if we haven't answered them, we will come back and address your questions and concerns after we get done talking through everything. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Tim Drowns, board member, and to my right is Rod Smith. Most of you probably know Rod or have dealt with him over the years. I think I'm going to let Rod start this off. he's always thrilled to do a lot of talking, so.
Wonderful. Great. All right, so here we go. So we are a go. We're going to be green light rolling June 8th. No more changes. The players and teams that didn't want to play have been out of the system. We are now rolling with schedules. We should be releasing those any day this week, no later than Thursday. As they get done and everything looks right, we will turn them on. You'll get a notification when they are ready. Season right now is going to run approximately till around August 20th, depending on the size of the division, just so you know. Some run longer based on buys and everything because of odd numbers with the schedules. We have had to make a change and go from 12 games to 10 games. This was necessary because of the odd number of teams that we ended up with. We did pick up new teams, dropped old teams that didn't want to play. So it's going to kind of change the whole direction on everything, but the schedules are coming along looking pretty nice. So I know everybody's dying to, and everybody knows then once they'll feel a lot better once they see the schedules out. So we know this, so we're going to get them out to you as fast as possible.
So, and you're going to turn them on as you complete them, not wait till.
Right, as I complete them, and I know it's not going to affect another division, I'll turn them on, and you'll get a notification and that the schedule's out there.
So if you've got multiple teams and you see your schedule come out for one team and not the other, just be patient. Rob will get those turned on as soon as they're completed. So, right?
Yep.
I assume everybody has gotten or has received the guidelines that we put out. Review those. Those fall in line with, we submitted those to the city, so they knew that we had a plan going forward, and to what we were going to do and what they could expect us to do and how we're going to handle crowds. A lot of these are very important that we follow and try to maintain. I know one in there we had some people concerns with. The 6 foot distance when you talk to your pitcher, some people had concerns of the team overhearing because you were going to maintain a 6 foot distance. If you feel you need to be closer than 6 foot to your pitcher when you go out there and talk to him as a coach, grab a mask. As long as you have a mask on, we won't enforce that 6 foot rule when you're talking to your pitcher or to your player on base. But you have to have that mask on if you're closer than 6 foot. Other than that, please respect that distance. It's not like we're going to go out with a tape measure and say, oh, you're 5 foot 6 inches. You know, you're in violation. Just use your best judgment and common sense is all we're asking. And if you've read through these, you know a lot of these are common sense rules. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Couple of things I want to hit on also on these guidelines. You know, as far as who's coming to the park, a couple of things you should remember. Anybody with underlying medical conditions or at a high risk, you should encourage them not to come to the park just because of the exposure. Again, that's all been published by the CDC and it's common sense. Anybody that's showing signs of sickness should not come to the park and play or should not come and be a spectator. If you have somebody on your team that starts getting sick during the game, we ask that you remove them from the game and from the area and from the park. If you know that you've been in contact, again, this is all common sense stuff that's been published by the CDC. If you've had symptoms or anything within 2 to 14 days, please don't come to the park. If you or anyone in your household has been in contact with somebody that's been exposed to COVID or that has COVID within 14 days, again, common sense, they shouldn't be at the park. The other thing is, I want to talk about the scorecards and ground rules.
Yeah.
So we're not going to require manager signatures on scorecards at the ground rules. Just trying to eliminate contact. So I don't know, what'd you say? I'll let you follow up on the.
So basically, nothing's really going to change dramatically. You're still going to have ground rules. You're just going to stand about 6 feet apart when you're talking for ground rules. You're going to not have to sign a card. The umpires will still have a game card. They still have to sign in order to get paid, so I guarantee you they'll take care of everything on there. That way they can track the runs and everything on the backside to keep track for any run limits in place under our basic rules. On the lineup sheets, you're not going to turn them into the umpires. You need to find one person from each team that'll be responsible to swap with the other scorekeeper. And the best thing you can do if you're going to do that is make sure each of those persons have a mask on when you swap, and then you can go back. You know, the biggest concern with everything that we're getting ready to do here isn't really the players and the play in the field. Okay, that's all momentary.
Yep.
Even the county considers that being outdoors, instantaneous play. It's the large gatherings and a long amount of time in close proximity, right?
Yep. Correct.
So now, just because we're not collecting the lineup sheets doesn't mean you can put any player on the team that you want to whenever, okay?
Yeah.
So we don't need any 10-year-olds coming up with a beard on or getting out of their car. So
Yeah, and if there's a question on rosters, please save your lineup sheets, whether you're home or visitor, because if there's a question, since we're not collecting those, we will contact you and ask for those lineup sheets if there's a question as to eligibility. So please hold on to those throughout the season, right?
right. All the game balls must stay sealed that we give you. Naturally, coach pitch, machine pitch, those game balls will be brought onto the field by the umpires. All you player pitch teams, when we give you the game balls, leave them in the plastic, okay? Any ball that goes out of the field and comes back into the field will get cleaned before it's put back into play.
Yeah, that's why we're asking teams to bring their own Lysol wipes or sanitizing to do that. There will be a sprayer in the dugout, so if you're playing 6 p.m. game, when you're done playing, we're asking that you guys, once everybody's out of the dugout, to take that sprayer and spray the bleachers where the kids were sitting in the dugout area where they're sitting, and then put the sprayer back down over in the corner. Please try not to walk off with it, right?
Right. Exactly. Equipment, before I forget, I don't want to forget to tell you this. So we're going to start handing out equipment next week. You're going to get an email with a schedule. It's going to be broke down by ages, okay? Essentially, you're going to pick it up here. Player pitch, if you need catcher gear, and then you got to pick up your game balls and everything, you're just going to pull up to the office and you're going to honk. Now, don't get used to this curbside service, because once we get through all this ain't happening no more. But I'm just telling you right now, that's the way we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
So basically, you'll get a schedule, and we're breaking it down by ages so we don't have 17 cars pulling up here. If you can't make it during that allotted day to get your stuff, try and find somebody else to come up. Anybody can come get it. We're not going to require a deposit. We're going to fill out the form for you so we can track who has what equipment.
So are you going to email them the form so they can pre-fill it out, or
We're gonna
going to
do
do
it.
it here? Okay.
Yeah. We'll fill it out and then give you your equipment, and you can be on your way. So we'd like to do it sooner, but we kind of figured it was a little bit more important to make sure we got the schedules out to you as quick as possible, since we're starting on June 8th. So this way we have time to do nothing next week but focus on getting you all the equipment and get ready to play ball. So.
And the equipment has all been pre-bagged and sitting in bags for weeks now, so there's no chance of contamination with the equipment when you get it. Now, it may still be dirty from last year, but the equipment has not been touched, so.
Anything you want to add on
No. Dugouts, teams. Ground rules. Again, if you guys have questions that we're not hitting on, go ahead and put those in the chat, and then we'll hit those up when we're done here.
Now, last word I had, we've had questions come into the office regarding playgrounds. Last word we had from the city was the playgrounds will be open
June 1st.
June 1st. So
Which
when
is a
you
week
come,
from
they will be open, but again, it's going to be your own responsibility to decide what you want to do about that, because a lot of people have younger kids, and they were questioning about whether or not they were going to have the playgrounds and everything else. So they will be open. As stated in the guidelines, everything we have in here can change simply as they open things up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and as soon as they drop the 6-foot distancing rule, these guidelines will go away and we'll go back to regular ball and back to as normal as what normal can be for everybody. So just remember that the guidelines and the way we're starting to play is only in effect until they loosen that 6-foot distancing up. In the guidelines, we also mentioned, make sure that you're not bringing team water and sharing cups or bottles. Make sure that everybody brings their own water bottle. Make sure their names are written on it. I think concessions will be open, right?
Yes, concessions will be open. Again, use social distancing, safety measures, keep your hands clean and everything.
Yeah, I think I saw on the city website that they're not going to have drinking fountains open, restrooms and concessions, but no drinking fountains, so.
No drinking fountains, and they would prefer you just to bring your own water. They're not going to be filling water bottles, just so you know. Okay, so if you bring your own water, bring enough,
Okay,
because they're not going to fill them because they don't want to go back and forth
okay.
between the
Makes
concession
sense.
stands. So.
Starting to get a few questions pop in there. We'll get to those here shortly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else on the guidelines to cover. There's a few things with the peewees that we want to go over as far as catching equipment, and if those of you that are coaching 5, 6U, 7, 8U, or 8U machine pitch, once we get done here, if you guys want to hang on the line a little bit, we'll go over some detailed rules with you guys as far as playing, not so much on the social distancing, but playing rules. And we can get those knocked out. That way, everybody else that it doesn't pertain to, that doesn't need to hang around for that.
Yeah, and speaking of that, on the equipment, just make sure somebody has wipes. I mean, we're supplying the
sanitizer for the
the
dugout.
disinfectant sprayer, but if you use a sprayer on the equipment, now what did you say, 10 minutes?
Yeah, it needs to dry for 10 minutes to be effective. So you can't spray it down and put it on a kid. It'll have to dry before you use it. But you know, if you need to use it to disinfect the equipment, you can. But remember, it needs to dry before the kids put it on or use it.
Want to jump into some questions?
Yeah. We'll.
Hey, no, Nathan, no jammers this year, buddy. Maybe we'll talk next year. Greg Berger.
Greg, any rule changes that are not listed specifically in guidelines? What age are you playing, Greg? (12U). I don't believe we made any changes to 12U this year. The only rule changes, or the only changes we made were to 9U and 10U, as far as pitching distance and base distance. So, or is it just pitching distance?
No, 9U and 10U are the same, which will be 46 feet pitching and 65-foot bases.
You guys can all go out and download the rule book from our website. There's a PDF out there. It is last year's, and I have not gotten it updated with the new 10U or 9U and 10U rules yet. I'll try to work on that this week and get the latest version out there to reflect the correct pitching and base distance for 9U and 10U. But other than that, the rules, we haven't added or amended any rules yet, have we, Rod?
No.
No,
Those,
okay.
no, those are the only two. It says here, Jeremy says the meeting link you sent earlier is where some of us have been waiting.
Yeah, I think I accidentally started a different,
Oh, you started a different one.
yeah, so it's all gonna be available to view.
Okay.
after. So, yeah. That was on me.
Okay. I think that link was a technicality on our tech guy over there running the monitors. He started the wrong
Obviously,
meeting,
the
so-
wrong link got fired
Yep.
up, so
Yep,
it will be available for viewing.
yeah, it's being
after we're
recorded,
done.
so.
We'll kind of keep hanging there. Hopefully, some others jump over. I don't know if there's any way we can get that out to anybody, really.
Nobody else over there.
Oh, okay.
All right, so yeah, we're up to 44 people now, so. Tiffany had a question, can siblings on the same team share equipment, bats? Also, can the coach get closer than 6 foot on mound visits? Yeah,
I don't know what Tim thinks about that, but that's a visual thing.
yeah,
Nobody's going to know whether or not that coach is.
that child's coach or parent. I would say wear a mask regardless, just because, like Rod said, it's an appearance thing. Now, as far as sharing equipment and bats, again, they should all be wiped down, but if you've got 2 siblings on the team and you got 1 bat between them and they're the only 2 using it, I don't think anybody's going to be looking and watching on that. Again, it's just, common sense. If the 2 siblings are the only ones using a bat, I don't see a problem with it. The problem comes in if other kids start grabbing that bat, then it will need to be cleaned. But I would say regardless, on the mound visit, a mask should be worn because nobody will know that that is the sibling. The other one, Jeremy, the meeting, we already covered that one. So, any changes to 10U girl rules?
No.
No, there's no changes to that. American Sports and Gaming.
Jay Gamble.
14U, metal spikes, bat lengths, and weights. Metal spikes are allowed from 12U and up. Right, Rod?
It's 14U baseball, right? Yeah, you can wear metal spikes,
But not on the portable mounds.
but not on the portable mounds. But 14U's all playing on a dirt mound, so
Okay.
you're good to go there. You can swing a -5 at 14U in our league.
Yep.
If you got any parents, though, I recommend any parents, if they're buying a bat, I would go ahead and get a -3 because once you're going to end up, if you play freshman ball or if you turn 15, you're going to have to swing high school standards anyway. So
Okay. Jeremy wants to know a game plan to be played in the same night every week like other leagues. I'll let Rod answer that. He does the schedules. I don't want to misspeak on his behalf, so I'll let him.
you're going to see a pattern. Depending on your division, naturally, you're either going to have a one night that's going, if there's 5 teams, naturally, you only need 2 slots, 1 diamond, so you'll probably see the same night. If you've got more teams than that, then it takes more days. So it's going to be, it really depends on the size of your division, on how many days of the week that division's going to play. So.
But you'll typically, if it's
You'll-
Tuesdays, or if it falls
Right.
Mondays and Thursdays, you'll try to keep it Mondays and Thursdays throughout the.
Right, yeah, you'll just see the same pattern on the entire schedule, so.
Minimum number of players starting game applied to all ages. Yeah, so all the player pitch, I believe we dropped it from 8 to 7 for this season. Basically due to you never know who might be sick, who can't make it. So we're allowing 7 to start and finish for all player pitch. Machine pitch has always been 6. So if
Machine
it's
pitch
Pee-wee,
and coaches, yeah.
yeah. So if it's coach pitch, machine pitch, it is 6 to start and finish the game. Okay. Jeff Knoll.
Any day now. So basically, as they're locked in, I will be turning them on. I worked all day, all the way up to this meeting. I'll turn them on individually by age as they're completed. So you'll get a notification. So if you have 2 teams, I think we went over that earlier. If you
Yeah.
have 2 teams, you may get one schedule turned on, and then the next one may not get turned on till later in the day or the next day. But they will be done by the end of the day, Thursday, for sure.
All right, and for those that have joined late, that may miss the beginning of it, when we talked about schedules, basically the season we're going to start, I'll just recap on this. June 8th for season start, and anticipating ending around August 20th, correct?
Yes.
And the other thing we talked about, we found it necessary, we had to drop game count from 12 games to 10. I'll let you explain that again.
What's that?
The game, we dropped from 12 to 10, because we had people come in after we talked about that. So.
Yeah, we were going to play 12 games. We had to go to 10 simply because with all the different teams coming in, other teams leaving, creating some odd numbers and counts on everything to try and get that all in at a decent time. And we were attempting to make sure that we get the games finished before the majority of the kids go back to school.
Yeah.
So we made a tough choice, decided to go 10 games, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure you get those 10 games.
Yeah. So that leaves us room for some rain makeups where 12 games would not.
Yeah, 12 games left us none, and they will not be added on to the end of the season. So if you have the rain makeups and we can make them up, we will make them up within that season. So you'll go from 1 game a week, but you'll have some weeks where you may have 2 if you have to make something up. So.
Okay.
I just want to make sure everybody realizes we're not going to be like the police out here, okay? We want everybody to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's like everything here, on TV and everything else. It's all our own responsibility. All the guidelines and everything we have in place, and that is simply because it's a requirement, to have something in place necessary for us to play. But it's up to us all as individuals, and the players and the parents and the teams to make it work so we can get back to some kind of normalcy.
Correct.
For, I don't know about you all, but for families and the players and the kids.
Yeah.
We're 2 months behind, and we could have very easily just said, hey, never mind, we're not going to play spring, let's do fall. But we just heard over and over again from so many that, hey, let's play as soon as we could. And now that we got it all settled in, we know who's pulled out, we know who's coming in, we can move forward. And county's ready to go, right? And, And city of O'Fallon is ready to go. So hopefully everybody's ready, and let's just have a good time out there. There isn't going to be trophies as stated. You all can post your own scores. We won't be posting scores here in the office, but the umpires will track them simply to control the run roll limits and everything. But let's take this time and just actually appreciate the game, because we all get so wrapped up all the time and everything else, with the winning and the whole 9 yards, that this whole thing should really be a wake up and appreciate to everybody the fact that we still get to play the game.
Yeah.
In all reality. So.
Yeah. And like Rod said, we're not going to be out there hard-nosed policing everybody. You'll see us drive around in a golf cart.
You will still see me, even though they're not going to be in the dugout right away, you will still see me once in a while out there. I'll just take picture of the players sitting on the bleachers this year.
There you go.
Instead of the dugout pictures we had. But speaking of pictures, just give you a heads up, I'm getting more details, but St. Louis Digital is still going to be doing pictures. They've worked out a way, if you're interested in them, you'll be getting all the information where they can actually take individual pictures of each player by themselves, and then they can actually put them together with a background of team. And he sent me some really cool examples. So we're going to try and do everything we can to still make this season memorable as possible for everyone.
Posting standings. If you enter the scores, they will be posted out there, Jeremy.
Yeah, but they're
But if you're the only one posting scores and the other teams aren't, then the standings really aren't gonna say much.
yeah, we're not going to post. We're not going to enter them here.
Yeah.
Not in this time frame. No guarantee what could have happened between now and the time we start, and by the time the end of August. You know, if a spike comes in the middle of,
Yeah.
you know, so.
And again, reiterate on the uniforms. We're not going to be enforcing the uniform rule in the rule book, as you know, as far as everybody making sure they have matching. We just asked that each player have a different number on the back of their shirt, whether it's a T-shirt or a regular shirt or a jersey. They don't have to match. Again, with the short season, trying to get uniforms ordered, you know, we're trying to make it as easy as we can on everybody. You know, certainly if you need those, we encourage you to try to support the local businesses that are making the shirts. So.
Yeah. Everything we've got in place, hopefully, will give everybody the best experience we could. And it was really important to all of us here to make sure we didn't change the integrity of the game. I know it's a little bit more trouble for the fans, a little bit more trouble controlling the players, I guess, you know, separated out on the bleachers until this all goes away. Yeah. But our big goal was to make sure we were good to go on the field and keep that game as much possible to normal.
To normal, yeah. Whatever that normal may be. So we all know that that's new normal is the new catchphrase of the year. So unless you guys have more questions, I don't think we have really anything else to cover other than if you're a Pee Wee team doing coach pitch or player pitch, or I'm sorry, coach pitch or machine pitch. If y'all want to hang on the line for a few minutes, and then we'll, Sean, then we'll talk to you guys. Pitching distance for 12U girls and bases. Pitching distance 12U girls is 40, 60?
40, 60.
Same as most, like an SA or SA. Just to make sure, and in case I missed it, are we using normal rules when it pertains to stealing? Yes.
Yes.
We did not change any of the stealing rules or leadoff rules. 14U is 54 feet pitching, David? Is that what you're asking, Dave? 14U would be 65-6 and 90-foot bases.
Yeah, straight up ball, Dave, on 14U.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be sending an email out possibly tomorrow, no later than Thursday, on days for pickup on equipment and game balls.
Just not allowed to throw us out. That's a good one.
Right.
So.
But I can tell you this much, we're all excited to get going. I can tell you the umpires are. They're about as stir crazy as everybody else is.
Well, we appreciate everybody thanking us for our hard work. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's about the kids, getting them out there. Everybody's going stir crazy, like Rod said. We need to get outside. We need to get some sun, and do it in a safe manner that's well for everybody. All right. So I guess if we have any of the Pee Wee coaches on there, if you guys want to post that you're 5U or 6U or 8U, that way we know who's still on the line, and then we can talk to you guys about some Pee Wee rules, and then everybody else that is player pitch, unless you have more questions, you're free to go. Yeah, we can't wait to get out there too.
If you're 5U, 6U, 7U, or 8U, put that age group, type that in chat, will you?
Thanks, Tom. Six U, 8U. Down to 27 now, so we got people leaving.
Yep. What do you want to do with the pitcher? Pitching helmet. I have to supply one. You want to ask that first? Or no? Yeah. All right, hey, you 8U and 7U machine pitch. We want to get an input on you. So the problem you got is the pitching helmet with the mask. So
We can do a couple of things with that. I know we didn't put it in the guidelines, but Rod and I have been talking about it. We can do a couple of things. We can either give you guys an extra caged helmet so that you can sanitize one in between innings in case you have different people playing that pitching position. Or we can eliminate that position and then you can just have an extra infielder that would be positioned behind the pitching machine so they wouldn't be up as close so we don't have to worry about a ball coming off at them too fast. Not sure what your guys' thoughts are on the 7U and 8U machine pitch. If you guys got any thoughts, suggestions, or certainly type them in and we'll go from there.
now keep in mind, you all are not going to have. We're not going to give you catcher gear. It doesn't mean you can't have a catcher. If you have your own gear, you can use it. We're just not supplying you catcher gear, just due to the difficulty of getting that cleaned up. And at those ages, you're probably going to swap catchers a few times. So,
Yeah. But if you have your own kid that likes to play catching or that likes to play catcher position and they have their own equipment and they're not going to share it, you're certainly welcome to put that child in that position. But like Rod said, we're not going to supply catching equipment to this age just because typically you change catchers every inning. So in the rules we said that you can take that position and put them in the outfield. If you choose to have a catcher and they have their own gear, the other team does not have to have somebody in that position. So it's totally up to you guys whether or not you have a catcher, but we're not supplying the equipment.
yeah. Batting helmet with no mask.
Yeah, I mean, that would be better than nothing.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. You know, just
See?
keep in mind, boy, that sometimes the ball can jump. So there's they got to stay awake, right?
Yeah, that was the whole idea of having the cage there is that ball can come off pretty quick off the machines.
No, this is for all machine pitch. Keep in mind, a coach pitch, they don't have to wear one on the coach pitch.
No.
So.
Jason says he thinks playing the pitcher behind the machine would work.
Yeah, I've almost put them directly right behind the coach.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that. That way we're not sharing equipment of getting still leaving the pitcher in the infield, but get them behind the machine so that they're not up that close. If you all are good with that, then we'll get that notated in the rules and when we talk to the umpires tomorrow night, we will inform them of that rule change. On the girls 5U and 6U, coach pitch and machine pitch. Excuse me. Typically by rule, those kids are supposed to wear a faced or a caged batting helmet. I think we talked, are we gonna forego that rule for this age? So they won't be required to wear a caged batting helmet when they're now, keep in mind, this is just for girls. They won't be required to wear the caged batting helmet while they're at bat. Any batting helmet will do. Now, if they're playing, if you happen to be coaching 10U or up, player pitch, that's different. They're still going to be required. But at the Pee Wee level for the coach pitch and machine pitch, we're not going to require the girls to have a caged mask on. What about 6 foot behind the coach? Jason, I like that 6 foot behind the coach. Now keep in mind, we're not going to have a 6 foot mark out there. So please be respectful of the umpires. If you see a team that their player is 3 foot behind the coach, we don't want to cause an uproar on, well, that team's only playing 3 foot back. So, I would say that's a good judgment distance of 6 foot. You okay with that, Rod?
Yeah, or like Earl said, let the team decide. They could choose
Yeah.
either one.
They can choose either
If you're
one.
going to be in the regular pitching spots, you got to have a helmet with a mask, but we won't be supplying them.
No.
Or a helmet, at least a helmet,
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to mess with that, then you can put it 6 feet behind the coach. So that
Yeah,
works for me. I don't know
yeah.
about everybody else.
Yeah, and you're correct, Earl. The umpire will be placed to the third base side of the pitching machine anyhow.
But you're going to have an umpire that's going to be behind the coach, typically off to one side. He'll have to be a little bit, he or she will have to be a little bit further back
Yeah.
than typical. And then you're always going to have your field umpire out there. As long as, all the kids come out, we should still have enough, hopefully, to have 2 umpires on your age group.
Yeah.
And they'll be in their normal spot out in the
So-
field away from everybody. They're normally behind all the kids.
So we want to do this like we're doing the catcher. If you have your own caged helmet for
Right.
your pitching position, you can put the child in that place. If not, then you can position them to the behind the coach to the first base side, about 6 foot. We'll leave that up to you guys when you play if you want somebody in that position, but we're not going to supply the cage helmets. Does that sound good to everybody? What else you got on the Pee-wees?
So basically, you all in 5, 6U, 7U, and 8U, whether it's boys or girls, you're not going to be getting equipment. So we're game balls because they bring the game balls out,
Yeah.
right? So anytime you want between 10 and 4, even starting tomorrow, I'll swing by. But if you got 2 teams, don't come get equipment. Try to get equipment for one age or the other. But just for the 5, 6U, 7U, and 8U, if you want to swing by, all you do is pull up, honk the horn. We'll step out, find out what you got going on, and we'll just run you your scorebook and lineup sheets out to you. So that way you can get that over with and get going. So.
Okay. So anybody new to coaching Pee-wees this year? I'm not sure if we really need to go in depth to any of the rules. I guess you can make sure you email the rule sheet out to everybody.
Yeah, we'll make sure we send you a rule sheet. So.
And again, though, the specific rules for the 8U, 7U, and 5 and 6U are available on our website under rules. You can go out and download those now. They'll say 2019, but we're not making any rule changes other than what we talked about here tonight. we can amend those and get those out there for the people that weren't here so they know. Anything else covering with these guys? Majority of your games will be played up on field 2 and 3,
Yep.
correct?
Yep, nothing on the lower fields this season, so everybody ought to be happy about that.
So
Closer to the bathrooms, get to play under the lights.
closer
so,
to concessions.
So should be a good time.
All right. If you guys got any specific questions for us, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap this up here. Score stand even if the inning is finished due to time limits at the top. So
Yeah.
on the hour time limit games, the 5, 6U and 7U and 8U girls, if you're at the top of the inning and the timer goes off, you finish that at bat, the score reverts back to the last completed inning. But again, we're not keeping score and keeping track of standings this year. You're more than welcome to enter the scores. But again, it would revert back to the last completed inning with a drop dead time.
All right.
All right, if we don't have anything else, then we're going to wrap this up, and Rod's going to work hard on schedules, get those out as quick as he can, and we will see everybody in about 2 weeks out on the field.
Have a good one, all.
Don't end that yet, David. Keep it up till everybody's going.
Just in case.
Yep.